Thanks for joining us today. I'm Kent Justice, your host for This Week in Jacksonville Business Edition. Okay, so our episode today, we're looking at a local business that you may not have considered as an investment in your home. Paul Anderson is with us from Garage Living Jacksonville. I thought this was interesting and timely, certainly, because the waves are up and down and real estate and all of this. So tell me, first of all, about Garage Living Jacksonville. What is it?
So Garage Living is an international company now. We actually have locations in Canada, London, and 2 in Australia, as well as about 50 in the US. We've been here since 2015. We do garage renovations. Everything from the flooring that you see to car lifts, to garage cabinets, storage facilities, anything from basic people who are moving down wanting some storage options to somebody who wants their garage to really pop.
So this is interesting because I moved here from the Midwest, from Ohio. We had basements.
Right.
And you can't move to Florida without meeting a whole bunch of folks from the Northeast and other parts of the country. So is that part of the market that you're appealing to, is folks who say, what am I going to do? I don't have a basement anymore?
I think that's really grown in the last few years. So it's people just almost panicking when we go because their garage is just full of the boxes that they have no idea where they used to put in their attic or garage, or they're perhaps downsizing as well, coming from, say, a bigger house up north where they had their kids. They're moving down here, still the amount of stuff, and they're trying to figure out where it all goes. And that's kind of where we come in, is to try and give them some solutions and options.
So you mentioned national, even international. For anyone who's taken the plunge on home ownership, does it make more sense to invest like this in your garage? Because so many of us, are just accustomed to where I park my car if I can, because I'm not storing all that stuff in there.
For sure. For a lot of times, we see it as a necessity, number one, because they have to have somewhere to put the things they're doing.
Yep.
But to invest in it and think of what am I going to get back to it long term, it does help people visualize, how can I live in this smaller house? Like, how can I do this? This is what they did. This is where they put all their stuff. This is where the Christmas decorations went. This is where the bikes went. These are where the cars went. I don't even know if I'm going to get 2 cars in this 2-car garage. And, it's sunny and not too nice down here sometimes. In hurricanes, we need to put the cars away. So the things have to get off the floor.
So is it about comfort or practicality, I should say, or does it actually increase a home's value?
Both, obviously, but it does increase the value. And I will say that we've seen multiple people, obviously we've done this for almost 17 years here in Jacksonville, and we've seen the customers come and go who have bought multiple homes and people who have bought the home that we've done. And they're just amazed at how much. Now, will it add the actual value, or will it just make your home stand out? That's the house with the garage. Yeah. Like, they all don't have garages.
Right.
But the one with the garage,
I remembered
when I was there. So it made it stood out more than the other ones.
You said that you've been doing this since 1995, this kind of work anyway. So you've seen what happens in real estate, and there are ups and downs. And where would you say we are in real estate right now? And why is this a time when folks, maybe it's the interest rates or it's inflation or whatever, but why should folks right now be thinking, maybe that's where I invest in my home?
So this is a time, we've seen it, as we talked before, multiple times in the years, as inflation goes up and interest rates are high, that people decide, maybe this is my forever home. Maybe this is the home I'm going to. Yeah. We didn't think we were. We thought this was maybe a transitional home. We'll get to Florida and then we'll find our next one. So they decide
But I don't want to give up that great interest rate I got 5 years ago, so maybe I make the most of where I'm at now.
Maybe I'm staying here and making this the forever home. Maybe that's the pool. And they're seeing it in all kinds of industries besides just ours, but in home improvements, they're doing the pool, they're doing the kitchen, they're doing the garage because it's smaller than they thought. So they're reinvesting in their home because you're right, they got that 2.99% 5 years ago.
I don't ever want to give that up,
and they can't get that again.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like it'll ever be there. It may, because these things happen in cycles.
But right now we're in that cycle where it's time to think about the home you're in.
Yeah. So, Paul, the marketing pitch includes this phrase: transforms garages into clean, functional, and stylish places. So who gets to decide function and style there?
So that's partially what we work with the customer on. So we come to your home for a free quote, design. I hate to call it a quote because it's really just a design. It's really, every garage is different based on your needs and what you have.
And there are many facets to it, right?
Correct.
Many different parts of what I can do in my garage remodel.
For sure. Some people, it's mostly bins and things they need to get up and off the ground. And other people, it's just finding a place. People want things behind doors. People want to just know where they are. But for the most part, it does vary homeowner to homeowner and necessities, what you have, whether it be little kids or yard equipment or lots of storage options, or too many cars for too many parking spaces.
Yeah, so where is the starting point, I guess? Does it have to be sealing the floor? And some of the flooring options in a garage these days are just beautiful. They're really spectacular.
That is generally the starting point. Obviously, if you're looking at it, the floor kind of build from the ground up and do the floor. And those are great. I mean, the flooring options are fantastic. It usually starts from there and then builds, and we can always add on. So usually starts with the floor. We do that in a lot of new constructions, people that are moving down really like right away. Let's just get the floor so I can start putting things on it. And then later on, we'll do the cabinets or the storage or the wall systems or perhaps a car lift, things of that nature. So it usually from the floor up.
If I'm looking at this as a kind of a remodel and investment in my home, what if I want to remodel down the road? How difficult is that?
We've had multiple people do that, change colors in both we have our flex cabinets, which can change the cabinet doors out, but keeping the shell of the cabinet, so far less expensive to go from, say, a blue cabinet door that you had before to you got a red car and you want it to match, so you want to go red door. Reflaking it and rechanging the floor is certainly something a lot of people have done over time, or just adding some different types of color in there and changing the design as far as slat wall or cabinetry and adding on to that.
Yeah, from your perspective and the work you do, is there a right time of year to do it, or a right time considering the age and layout of your home?
So at the time, probably no. The age floor is as soon as possible, especially if you're buying new construction. Let's get it done, because once you start loading things on, people are very rarely going to take it all off and do it again. It's much more of a process to get it all out of there and put it back into place. But as far as the process, whenever it's right for the customer, and generally sometimes they know it's time for, it's all boiled up. They've got too much stuff on the garage and they've kind of reached their boiling point.
Yeah. Our podcast has viewers all over the place. So Garage Living Jacksonville, what areas do you service here? And if somebody's not here where you serve, they just look for Garage Living somewhere else? Is
Correct.
That how it works?
Yeah. So we were actually Garage Living's first location in the United States. So we are a Toronto-based company, but we were the first location in the U.S. So we have a fairly big territory. We go all the way down to Port Orange, over to Ocala, up to Savannah for our location, but we do also have one in Orlando, one in South Florida, one in Tampa, Atlanta. We're almost covered the United States.
So when I think of, hey, things I'm going to do to add value to my home, and you mentioned earlier a swimming pool, or hey, I want a pergola, I'm going to expand the patio, all these kind of things. Those are in the tens of thousands of dollars on projects. Is that similar here for what I'm doing for retrofitting or remodeling my garage?
It depends. So we have projects all over the board, from as little as a few thousand, $2,000 to $3,000, to $50,000, $60,000 garages. Those are a little less rare. Most people can definitely do it, a really great garage, for under 10 grand. Okay. So it does vary, and we have lots of sizes. It depends on the job.
Yeah. And one of the things that drew me to reaching out to you and talking about this is just that idea of adding to livable space in your home. You've got that garage, and if it's not set up right for you, you're not going to want to spend a ton of time out there. So, Paul Anderson, I appreciate it so much. Garage Living Jacksonville, thanks for kind of explaining some of this, give us a chance to talk through it.
I appreciate your time, Tim.
All right.
Nice meeting.
And thanks for joining us for this week in Jacksonville Business Edition. I'd encourage you to like, follow, subscribe wherever you're listening to this podcast right now. Thanks for joining us today.